Welcome to class. How's everyone doing out there? At home? Hope you're doing great. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking. We dropped down in Thailand a few days ago, and now we're here for the month in self-isolation at this little bungalow. So we feel very grateful for our health and for our safety, and we really hope the same for you. Wherever you are in the world, we can wish you nothing but health and happiness. So keep the vibes high, keep moving in your body, keep breathing, keep meditating. You're doing all the things that you can to keep spreading the love. So thank you for showing up today, for clicking on this video, for joining us, and for doing your part to keep the love and the vibes high. So for today's class, it's going to be a simple yoga class tailored for beginners. So if you're new to yoga, this is great. Welcome. Maybe you've heard about yoga, or that you need to be doing yoga, or yoga is good for you and all these things, but you just keep putting it off. And so this class is designed specifically for you, to introduce you to the movements, the poses, most importantly to bring your awareness to the concept that yoga is not just about the physical movements or the poses. It's really about connecting with yourself, connecting with your breath, and arriving more in the present moment. So I'll be guiding you through everything. There's nothing for you to prepare for or do in advance. You're already here. This is it. This is step one, and you don't need any props. So all you need is a mat. If you don't have that, it's also okay. Just on the carpet or on the floor, in your kitchen, in your bedroom, wherever. There's nothing needed, just you and your breath and your body. If you're ready, let's begin. So we'll start in a child's pose. So for this variation today, I'd like you to have the legs together, so the knees together. The hips come down to the heels as you start to walk your hands forward. And begin to bring your head down towards the ground. So for most of you, you can probably reach your forehead closer to the ground. But for me, if you can tell in the video, I have very long legs and a very short torso. So for me, my child's pose is just with my chin resting on my knees. So the purpose of me telling you that is that you can already see and check for yourself that each body is proportionately designed a little bit differently. Depending on your skeletal structure, this pose might look different to you as it is for me. And that's really one of the first lessons of yoga, is that we're not trying to mold or conform our bodies into any specific shape. Each pose is done 7 billion different ways, and your body is one of them. So as you start to focus on your breath, just one breath at a time, I'd like you to begin this class by giving yourself permission to arrive in each pose, however that looks for you. Of course, I'll be guiding you through the movements, but nobody knows your body better than you do. So it's really your responsibility to move it in ways that feel best for you. Take a few more deep breaths here. With each inhale, feel the lift in the ribcage. And each exhale, the body, the chest just melts down onto the legs. On your next inhale, start to lift the chest up. We meet in a tabletop position. So the knees come hip distance apart. The wrists are under the shoulders. The knees are under the hips. Stay on the tops of the feet so the toenail polish side of the toes will stay on the ground. As you inhale, let the belly sink down as you gaze forward. And then begin to exhale, round the back. tuck the chin to the chest and tuck the tailbone under as if you're a dog that's tucking their tail between their legs. Inhale, gaze forward, let the belly sink down. And exhale, round the back, push the ground away. So now start to move at the pace of your own breath. As you inhale, let the belly sink. And exhale, let the back round. Now that you know this transition and this movement, invitation here to close the eyes. With each inhale and each exhale, see if you can flex and round, or flex and extend the spine just a little bit more. So you're really waking up all those muscles between the vertebrae and the shoulders, the hips. Now begin to introduce a little bit more movement in the hips, the spine, the back. So start to bring your hips down towards the heels. Maybe make a circle with the hips as you come forward over the wrists. Switch directions on that circle. Maybe bend one elbow and then bend the other. Don't worry how silly this looks if you notice already that you're holding back, that you're staying small. Stop it. Move. It's okay. Most likely you're at home by yourself. It's okay if your body looks silly or weird or you're moving it in positions that you usually wouldn't do. That's what this practice is. It invites you to explore movement in the body by maintaining that connection to the breath. It's all good. Keep it going. Take 3 more breaths here. And we meet back in a neutral spine in that tabletop. Now keep the legs where they're at. The hips are going to stay above the knees. And then start to walk the hands forward for puppy pose. So the arms are straight. The head starts to reach down towards the ground. Begin to relax the chest down towards the ground. Open up the shoulders, the collarbone. And begin to lift the head back up, the chest, the shoulders, back to that tabletop. Tuck the toes under, lift the knees, downward dog. So before you come straight into downward dog, I'd like you to first pedal the legs, one leg at a time. And then bend both knees. Start to bring your chest closer to your quads. As you really start to push the ground away, find that length from your wrists all the way to the hips. And then option here to begin to lower the heels down towards the ground. As you start to straighten the legs, it's perfectly fine if they don't touch. It's more important that you have that length in the upper back than it is about keeping the legs straight. Start to walk the feet forward to the top of your mat. We'll meet in a forward fold. So the feet are about hip distance apart. Cross the arms in front of the chest for ragdoll. So gently sway, bend one leg and then the other. Just let the arms hang down towards the ground. Let the head hang heavy. As you relax and let gravity work its magic here. then release the hands, interlace the hands behind the back. And start to bring the hands up over the head. And then release the hands. Big bend in the knees as you start to roll up through the spine all the way to standing. Big inhale, arms reach up overhead, palms touch at the top. And exhale, hands release down at your sides. Inhale, arms reach, palms touch. And exhale, forward fold. So we'll do a few more rounds of this, folding forward and standing. So inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, inhale all the way to standing. Palms touch. Exhale, forward fold. Nice and slow. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Start to connect the movements with the breath. Inhale, take the full length of the breath to come up to standing. Palms touch. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift to lengthen. And then from here, I'd like you to keep your right leg straight. Start to bend the left knee. Keep your left fingertips down on the ground. And reach your right arm up to the sky. So if this is already too deep of a stretch for you on that right hamstring, then you can also just let your left hand hover above the ground. So make the pose accessible for you. What we're looking for here is to focus more on stretching and isolating the right hamstring, so the muscle behind the right leg. And then start to bend both knees. Keep that left hand on the ground, but then lower it down to the palm. Step your left foot back of the mat. So revolved side angle. Keep that right arm reaching up to the sky. A little bit of a twist. See if you can straighten that left leg. And then push the ground away with the left arm. So instead of collapsing into the left shoulder, you're still reaching up with your right hand towards the sky. Gently set the left knee down on the ground. And keep the arms as they are, sort of that shape of a T, as you rise up with the chest. And if you want to increase this stretch, you can bring your left hand down outside your right thigh. And gently pull into the twist. Nothing too deep. Depth is never the goal. And the right hand comes down towards the left hamstring. Left arm reaches up to the sky. Gentle back bend, a little bit of a twist as well, so go easy here. With each inhale, try to invite a little bit more space between each rib on the left side. So you're really reaching with that left hand up towards the sky and creating that space in the chest as you deepen the breath. Inhale, both arms reach up to the sky. Your chest comes forward. And then start to straighten the right leg for half splits. So you may need to walk your right heel forward. Come onto the top of the left foot. So ideally you have your left hip stacked on top of your left knee. And again, maybe walking that heel forward with the right foot. Maybe you didn't have to do that. It depends on, again, the length of your legs, the length of your torso. So again, it's an invitation for you to honor your own body, to be grateful for what you have, for where you're at. So here in this half splits, your right leg is almost fully straight, but you have a micro bend in the right knee. Fingertips are down on the ground. And the head is reaching down towards the right knee. If you can see here, I'm gently moving my hips left and right, windshield wipering the right foot. And that just allows me to explore the sensation in the stretch of all three major muscles of my right hamstring instead of just one. Start to rebend the right knee. And then we're going to step the left foot forward, top of the mat for yogi squat, malasana. So the hips sink down, hands come together, triceps inside the thighs. You can take a wrist release here if you need to. Roll out the wrists. And squatting is a very primal movement, and it's something that we as humans have been able to do for thousands of years, but in most recent years it's become a lot more difficult of a pose because we sit in chairs so much. We sit so much. So if this is difficult for you, then it's possibly an invitation for you to be doing this more. So when Flo and I had an apartment before we moved into the RV, and now before we live out of backpacks, we removed all the chairs in our house, in our apartment, so that we were forced to sit on the floor and forced to squat more. And it really helped with the health of our backs, our hips, our legs, shoulders, all around good for the body. Maybe with the help of your hands, you're going to come into a seat. Extend both legs out in the shape of a V for a seated forward straddle fold. So start to walk the hands forward, lengthen the spine, and then flex both feet so the toes are pointing up towards the sky. If you have your feet or toes collapsing inwards, see if you can really lift the toes up so that your foot is flat. Maybe even close the eyes here. Start to slow down the breath. If you notice your mind is wandering into the future or into the past, maybe you're wondering what pose is next, or where this practice is going to take you, or how much longer this video is. That's a perfect time for you to let go of those thoughts. Come back to this breath. Blink open the eyes, start to walk your hands back towards your hips. Hold on to both hamstrings as you help to lift your knees up. Your feet at the top of the mat, maybe again with the help of the hands as you lift the hips up. We meet in a forward fold, top of the mat. So again, feet are hip distance apart. Let the chest hang heavy. Big bend in the knees as you inhale, roll all the way up to standing. Big breath, inhale, arms reach. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, the heart reaches forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way to standing. Strong legs, big breath. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale to standing. Last one, big breath. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then keep the right fingertips on the ground. Start to bend the left knee. Keep the left leg straight, maybe a little micro bend in the left knee. Reach the left arm up to the sky. Gaze comes back down towards the ground. Start to bend both knees and then step the right foot to the back of the mat. Revolved side angle once again. So that left arm is still reaching up to the sky. Maybe your left shoulder is starting to talk to you and it's saying, I'm tired, put me down. But this is the time exactly for you to come back to the breath, to remind yourself that you can do it. Just a few more breaths here. You're doing great. We're all doing our best. Gently set the right knee down. Both arms reach up and out towards the front and back of the mat. Come onto the top of the right foot. And continue extending and reaching with the hands. Again, option here to hook the right wrist outside the left thigh. And if you feel unstable in this pose, or really in any pose, then you can always modify to make it feel better for your body. So if you feel like you're gonna tip over here, then you can heel toe your left foot to the left 1 or 2 inches. Give yourself a little bit more surface area. Inhale, right arm reaches up towards the sky. Left hand comes to the back of the right thigh, the hamstring. Continue to deepen the breath. With each inhale, you're really reaching the right fingertips up and back. And inhale, both arms come up to the sky. Just to reset here, 1 breath, and then start to straighten the left leg, half splits. With each inhale, you find that length in the spine. And each exhale, melt down over the left leg. And most likely, you're also at home in quarantine. So maybe you have a very controlled space and it's quiet and you have music on and everything is chill and calm. But maybe your home is not like that. Maybe you have loud kids or barking dogs or neighbors that are loud or other people playing music, and that's sort of the beauty of this practice of yoga, is that we learn to be okay with what is. You can kind of label all of these scenarios, these things, as pain points. So the pain is not necessarily unavoidable. It's there. But the suffering is really optional. How you relate to those things that are outside of your control. You could either be annoyed by them or you can accept them. So the choice is yours. So if you do have those sounds or those noises around you, see if you can invite them into your practice. Make it part of your practice. Be okay with them being there, knowing that you're always in control, but listening to the breath. Start to rebend the left knee. And then step that right foot forward, top of the mat. We meet back in that yogi squat, malasana. For a second time, maybe now that we're here again, you already notice a little bit of a difference in the hips, the back, the knees. If not, it's also okay. So with each inhale, you lift the chest a little higher, sink the hips a little lower, soften the breath. Find some stillness here. And start to sit back with the hips. Extend the legs. Again, for that V-sit shape with the legs. So again, you're going to flex the feet, the toes point up towards the sky. But this time, instead of reaching straight forward, we're going to go off to the right. So first, I'd like you to place your right hand on the inside of your left thigh. And then start to reach your left arm up over your head towards your right foot. So just as far as you can. It's okay if you can't reach. If you can, then you'll grab onto the outside of the right foot. And if you can't reach the foot, it's also okay to just hover the hand towards the right foot. So what we're looking for here, if you haven't already noticed, is a stretch in your lower left side of your back. Specifically a muscle we're targeting that's called the quadratus lumborum. So this muscle is the main muscle that's used to stabilize your spine and your pelvis. And it's usually the number one reason why you have back pain, which is caused from too much sitting. Surprise. So if you have low back pain, if you sit a lot in chairs, then this is a great stretch for you to add into your practice. Take 2 more breaths here. Now, as you release out of this pose, I'd like you to bring the chest towards the center of the mat. Stay as low as you can to the ground, and then come over to the left side. So left hand comes inside the right thigh. Right arm reaches up over your head, making its way towards the left foot. And then use the breath as your guide to come more and more into the pose. So the inhale will lengthen the spine, it will create space in the body. And then we use that spaciousness as an invitation to melt down into the pose on the exhale. So inhale, lengthen, and exhale, melt. As you release out of the pose, again, come back to center first. And walk your hands back towards your hips. Again, with the help of both hands, lift the knees up. The feet are going to be about hip distance apart, and then make your way onto your back. We'll come into bridge pose. So start to walk your heels a little bit closer to your fingertips. And then lift the hips up. Start to engage the glutes. And then keep a little bit of space between your chin and your sternum so that you're still protecting the back of your neck. You're not compressing your spine. Last breath here. And then lift the heels, slowly lower the hips all the way back down to the ground. Take a moment here, windshield wiper the knees. And we'll take bridge a second time. Lift the hips. We won't be here quite as long, but I'd like you to imagine pulling your heels closer to your shoulders so you really feel that engagement on the back side of the body. So instead of just muscling your way into it by engaging the quads, I'd really like you to engage the glutes instead and use the posterior side of your body to lift the hips. Sorry, pretty loud helicopter above us, not sure if you can hear it. And then slowly lift the heels, lower the hips back down. Now keep the left leg where it's at. You're going to cross the right ankle on top of the left thigh. And then with your right hand, you're going to reach through that triangle between the legs. And then you could either hold on to the left hamstring or the left shin, but you're going to bring both legs closer to the chest. Flex the right foot so the right toes point towards the right knee. A little stretch in the outer right hip. And then release the ankle from the thigh. Stack the legs together, the knees together. And then bring both legs over to the left side. For a supine twist. Extend your right arm out to your side. And the left hand either on top of the right thigh, or you can also place the hand on the rib cage. So you can really notice what the breath is doing. So it's really easy to push and pull yourself into this pose. Take a deep inhale, feel the lift in the chest, the pressure on the left hand. And then with each exhale, see if you can let go of any tension that you're still holding on to. Relax the muscles in the face. The feet, especially in this pose, like to hold on to tension, so relax the ankles, the toes. And again, forget about trying to arrive and look a certain way. In this practice, we always want to come back to the functionality of the pose. Why are we moving our body in a certain way? What are we trying to strengthen and lengthen? And in this case, in a supine twist, it's to find that twist in the mid-back, our thoracic spine. So maybe this doesn't look the same in your body as it does in mine. And that's fine. As long as you feel the twist, you're doing it right. Start to make your way out of the pose. Maybe with the help of your left hand, bring your knees back up to center. Place both soles of the feet back down on the ground. Heels are close to the fingertips, and then lift the hips back up. Bridge pose. Again, we'll do 2 rounds of bridge. So engage the glutes, lift the hips. And lift the heels, slowly lower down. Keep that little curve in the back, set the heels back down. And again, bridge, lift the hips up. Engage the glutes. Lift the heels, lower the hips. Hug the knees into the chest. Again, that little squeeze. And then cross the left ankle on top of the right thigh. Bring that left hand through the triangle of the legs. And just hold on to whatever you can, either the right hamstring or the right shin. Keep that left foot flexed so you engage the ligaments in the left knee to reduce that twisting. targeting our outer left hip. So as long as you feel it there, it's all good. Release the ankle from the thigh. Hug both knees into the chest so that the legs are together again, symmetrical, and then bring both legs over to the right side of the mat. Let the legs rest down. And extend the left arm out to your side. Right hand comes to the rib cage. And with each exhale, you melt just a little bit more. Let go of any resistance that you still feel in the body. What are you holding on to? What can you let go of? Not only physically, but emotionally, mentally as well. Is there anything that's no longer serving you that you can let go of right now? Make your way out of the pose. Again, maybe with the help of the right hand, bring both knees back up to center, hug the knees into the chest. Maybe rock a little left and right. Massage out the spine. And then hold on to both of your kneecaps and make some circles with the knees. You can let the feet fall open. And through this practice of yoga, you start to learn a lot more about your body. You start to learn about what poses feel good, maybe what poses don't feel so good. And you just discover more about yourself. You discover more about that voice in your head, about the stories that you're telling yourself. So maybe some of these poses felt really great for you. Maybe some of these poses were more challenging or easy. So just note that. Remember that you always have the ability to switch up the poses to make them work for you. So you should be so proud of yourself for stepping on the mat today, for moving your body, for connecting with your breath. It's beautiful. Hug the knees into the chest one last time. Give yourself a big squeeze. And then release as you extend the legs to the corners of the mat. For our final pose in this practice, Shavasana. So the palms face up towards the sky. The feet fall open. The shoulders roll open. The heart lifts. Close down the eyes. Settle into the stillness. For a lot of people, Shavasana is one of the hardest poses. Because you're really not doing anything physical. So the tendency is to make Shavasana very short because you feel like you're not being productive, that you're not going anywhere, that you're not growing. But in actuality, this is one of the most important poses of your practice, so please resist the urge to stop here. The functionality of this pose is to surrender, to allow yourself to just be, to remind yourself how beautiful your body is, all the different systems, thousands of neurons, trillions of blood vessels. You're taking hundreds of thousands of breaths every day. The body is actually working around the clock in such a beautiful, orchestrated, and perfect, flawless fashion. So take this time in Shavasana to just be grateful for where you are. To be grateful that you had one more day to wake up, to experience life on this beautiful earth. Even given the circumstances now where there's a lot that's out of your control, it's even more of an invitation to become present and to not let that pain result in suffering. So put all of your attention on the breath. See if you can slow your breath down. And if you need a mantra to repeat in your head in order to stay present during the Shavasana, one that you can use is on the inhale, you repeat peace. And on the exhale, you repeat love. Inhale, peace. Exhale, love. Option here to stay here for a couple of minutes, or as long as you'd like in Shavasana. But we'll be ending the video here. Feel free to pause it or just let the video run. Stay as long as you wish. Keep repeating that mantra, peace and love. And we'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice, for sharing this space, for sharing your love and energy. With lots of love and support. My end of the internet to yours. Namaste.